Good afternoon, it's Sunday and welcome to Summer's Way of Life. Today I'm just going to take you through some parts of the garden that I find absolutely mesmerising, or I have been mesmerised by in the last few days while just sitting and observing. And then I'm just going to say a few words about the metaphysical nature of reality, which I've said before and I'm going to say again is an axiom. It's an absolute certitude. It's a certainty. It's not open to debate. Why? Because I've experienced it, and many others have too, but it's not something that can be explained through reason. So I'll talk about that in just a little bit. In fact, I'm going to read something to you that I've written after studying the work of Dr. John Meadow, or Oldmeadow. I can't remember his surname properly. But first, let me just take you through the areas of the garden that inspire me so much. Let's turn this around. Sunday afternoon. Californian poppies. Wildflower garden. A meadow of calendula, pot marigolds. Wild woodland strawberries. Nasturtiums. Tender stem broccoli being supported by the apple tree. Another single head broccoli growing in unison with the borage herb. Strangely enough, this broccoli plant hasn't been touched by any pests at all. Another broccoli, again growing alongside the apple tree, which didn't fruit this year, but is supporting this beautiful broccoli plant. Honeysuckle. If only you knew the scent, the sweet, sweet summer scent of honeysuckle, especially in the late afternoon, evening. geraniums. A different type of calendula. Beautiful. Welsh onion seeding. Can you see the seeds? Ruby red nasturtiums coming into flower. Geraniums. Curly parsley. It could be flat leaf, but it's beautiful. Homegrown thyme from seed. Whole tray of beautiful potatoes harvested today. Finally, I just want to take you out to the front just to show you the tomatoes. These are going to remain green. Just look how beautiful they are. Accompanied by a tiny meadow of different types of calendula. That was just absolutely beautiful, wasn't it? It's just beautiful when you've created something like that yourself and then you appreciate it. Just sitting quietly in a summer's day and just watching. Right. I was reading something this morning. Actually, it's from my notebook because I write everything down that I watch that is of interest or that I'm learning or educating myself. I have a very good habit of writing things down and then I go back and read. And this is Professor Oldmeadow. You will be able to find him on YouTube, but I can't remember his first name, but just look him up. I can't remember where I saw the video. I think it was in May sometime. And I've been studying metaphysics for quite a while. I'm still very green and very new. And I'm not talking about metaphysics in the mainstream term. I'm talking about perennial metaphysicians who, many of them are dead now. In fact, there's only one surviving perennial metaphysician left as far as I think it's Harry Oldmeadow is concerned. Look at his name, Oldmeadow. Anyway, I'm just going to read this to you because he's put it in great words. In metaphysics, we are studying realities that are not amenable to empirical investigation. What he means by empirical is verifiable investigation, or investigations that are of a qualitative or quantitative nature, which is what reasoned investigation is today. So what he says is that in metaphysics you're studying realities that cannot be understood by rational means. Now, what he's saying is that that doesn't mean reason is wrong. What it tells us is that reason is a tool which we can use in certain circumstances. So what he's saying is that reason is a really good servant of ours. It's a tool, which is a servant. It's a tool, but it is a very poor master. So if we allow reason to tyrannize us, we won't be able to use or understand traditional symbolism at all. And that's why you have atheists, because they have not got a clue of the understanding of metaphysics, which is a very traditional way of being, traditional, as opposed to modernity. Right, so to understand supersensorial realities, we need the help of things that we do understand. Now, this is the important point. Dr. Harry Oldmeadow gives examples, and he gives examples of flowers, the sun, the rain, the rivers and the mountains. As I've mentioned in almost every video, the power of nature and nature's principles, which is full of symbolism. Not symbols as in the symbol of a flag. No, we're talking a much deeper sense of symbolism, which he says, let's take the mountain, for example. The mountain can be another symbol of God simply because it's very high up and it's pointing to the top. So it points to something higher than ourselves, a perfect symbol for transcendence. The same with the sun. There is a very intimate relationship between metaphysics and poetry. But what he also says is some of the greatest metaphysicians that on earth, and we're talking about recent, I mean, there are people like Plato, arguably not Aristotle. He's just been sensationalized for the different reasons. But Dr. Harry Oldmeadow talks about Coomaraswamy and says that Coomaraswamy also says that myth is the closest we can get to absolute truth. It is the penultimate truth via poetry and symbolism. So just a tiny extract of what I've read and what I've understood, which is really powerful. And that's why I showed you the garden, and that's why I'm constantly saying spend time in nature, because nature offers you truth. If you're within it long enough and you spend time in it long enough and you immerse yourself in it outside of modernity, and when I talk about modernity, I mean the tools of modernity, which are mainstream media, and even science, which is not science anymore, it's scientism. It's turned into an ideology, which is why I give very little credence to those who claim to understand the nature of reality through their scientific studies. I listen, but then I watch behaviour and actions, and that shows everything, which anyone who is connected to the frequency of nature, which I am, and many people are, can see right through. That was very short video. You can see over here my carrots and garlic are cooking in the sun before I add all the spices. Nice weather where you are. Make sure you spend some quality time in nature and awaken to who you are. Have a good day.